Muted.
our social media webinar. Um, Jean, can you see the screen? Does
I
it say
can,
brand?
yes.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So um, just to introduce myself, my name is Natalie Bennett. I'm the development specialist here at Beacon. I also have my colleague Alejandra Spangler here, who is also one of our social media gurus. And we have Jean Mahoney on the line, who oversees logistics for our walks or for our AMP-UP events. And I know that we have Barbara on the line, who I believe is one of our team captains. So, but we'll probably have other people hop on as we move forward. But as I mentioned before, this will be recorded and it will be housed on our website so that you can go back if you have any questions or want to get some more ideas. So on our agenda, we're going to talk about three main things. Why we use social media, what are the various tools or the three main tools you can use, and also hashtags versus handles, and then, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them at the end, or you can send it via the chat function, and we will, I can stop and answer them at that time. So, put the chat. Okay. So why use social media? Okay. So we use it, you can use it as a recruitment tool. You can use it to recruit your family, friends, neighbors, church goers, colleagues, coworkers, anyone who's within your social network to A, fundraise with you, join your team, or just to raise awareness as to why you are participating in AMP-UP. And so these are the three main topics that we're going to talk about. In regards to using it as a recruitment tool, it's way quicker to put a message out via Facebook, Twitter, or even Instagram than it is to pick up a phone, send an email, send a letter via USPS or snail mail. And, by being able to send out a message via Facebook to, let's say, a network of 350 versus 350 letters is way more efficient of your time if you're using a social media outlet. When it comes to fundraising, the same thing. You can reach your networks and ask them to donate to your page way quicker than you could possibly through an email. A lot of times also, you send out emails, they could get picked up for spam or not even reach your family and friends for whatever reason. So with social media, you can send it out. It can be housed on your timeline, your Twitter feed, or your Instagram feed for various periods of time. And you can send them out multiple times if need be. And with raising awareness, you can do that any day, not just doing AMP-UP. But if you just want to put out a quick fact about bladder cancer, or why you should support bladder cancer, or what's going on in bladder cancer, or the bladder cancer community, that can be social media is one of those quick methods in which you can do that. A lot of the times when we hear new and exciting news about new drug treatments or immunotherapy or what's going on in the bladder cancer community, we get it out quicker via our Facebook and Twitter sites than we do when we send out an e-blast or our e-newsletter, only because the amount of time it takes us to put it on social media is way quicker. So those are the three reasons why you should use social media as part of your AMP Up effort. So some of the three main tools, there are many tools for social media because there's more than just your typical Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But you have Flickr, you have Tumblr, you have LinkedIn, you have YouTube, you have all other media outlets. But the three main tools we're going to talk about today are Facebook, Twitter, and our newest one, Instagram. And Alejandra is going to introduce Instagram in a few minutes for us. So in regards to Facebook, our Facebook page, and I'm going to switch over to it. Bear with me. So here's our Facebook page. Can you see our Facebook page?
I can't. I'm still seeing the main screen.
Are you seeing, what screen are you seeing, Jean?
It's saying ramp up for amp up.
Okay.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay. So here's our our Facebook screen. And with this, we were just talking about how we are able to, spread the word about what's going on within the Beacon community. So a lot of times you'll see quick notices about AMP Up or what's going on via Beacon and whatnot. Now, our other option is our Twitter page, and there's a lot going on. But we also have our Twitter page, and where we have different messages via our feed about what's going on in the bladder cancer community. And we now have an Instagram feed, which I'm not sure how to add the.
It's going to be _. See where that is.
And sorry,
Insta Beacon exclamation point.
And we now have an Instagram page. This is not our feed.
You can click on feed. It is our feed, but click on that side. All the way to
Right here, and you can see we have different things going on showing about what we're doing for AMP Up, some of the other ways we've been amping up for the year, and messages that we have for our Beacon community. So these are our three, but let me give you background about all of them. So Facebook is more so for personal, you can create a personal profile, and individuals can create group fan pages and their own personal page and generate support for your AMP Up event, for your AMP Up event that you're participating in whatever city. Twitter is another free social media page that you can use, and it's really a microblogging service, and you can do tweets which are really like text messages, up to 140 characters. So it's very short, sweet, and to the point, and getting your message out to your friends and family. And Instagram is an online mobile photo sharing program. So you can use photos or videos that you can use to show your family and friends what you're doing to amp up, whether it be before, during, or after your amp up event. So these are the 3 outlets that we have that we're using for amp up. Now, in regards to being able to use it for amp up, there are certain little areas throughout the web page, the amp up page, that you can use for sharing, and I wanted to just point those out to you. So if you wanted to just share and have people become involved, whether it be your site, your team, or a different city, you can use these buttons right here, the Facebook one, and you can post it to your site, and you can post it to your timeline or to a group, or even send it as a private message to a friend or a family member. Or you can do the same thing via Twitter, or you can email it to them also. So these are different services you can use to email, but you can also use it there to send to your friends and family. Within your participant center, let me go back. I'm not sure if it's going to pick me up yet. It may not pick me up. Yeah, it may not pick me up yet. But in your participant center, you'll be able to do the same thing. And just send a short message to your family and friends, or whoever you choose to send the message to within your network about your efforts, and have them either register for or join your team, or even donate to your walk or your amp up event. I have to stop saying walk. So those are some of the ways here on the amp up site you can use the social media function here. Now, when we're talking about for fundraising, you can just send out a quick message and say, please, consider donating to my amp up site, and leave the link, and you can send it back to the page, your individual or your team page, and have them click on the Donate Now button. Or you can say a message if you want to recruit them and say, please join me on Saturday, May 7th at the DC Walk, and send them to the registration site. Use the registration link to have them register for the event for the 7th, or whatever date your event is. So these are all options in how you can use your Facebook, Twitter, or more so Facebook and Twitter for your site for AMP Up. Do we have any questions so far? I know I'm going a little, I want to make sure that I hit points.
I have a question. I don't do a lot on Facebook myself, but my brother and sister, and I have some friends who are very active. Can I get them to do this on my behalf, or do you have any suggestions for how we can sort of tap into other people who are more adept at social media than perhaps I am?
So if you don't necessarily use Facebook a lot, but let's say your brother has like a huge network, I would suggest him be the one that, and he's participating, I would suggest he be the social media person for your team, or maybe even your event, and have him send it out via the network. he could also sit, so more than likely you guys are friends on social media. So once he sends it out via his social media, it goes to your network also. It goes to your page. And then from there, it can spread throughout everybody else's networks. And I'll talk about that in a minute when I'm talking about different, like, handles versus hashtags.
Okay.
But once he sends it out via his network, it goes to you, and then you can just keep spreading it the same way. It's kind of like a chain mail. Is that what we used to do back in the day? So it's kind of like chain mail.
Okay.
Is that a question?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. So here's what I was talking about, hashtags versus handles. So what is a hashtag? A word or phrase preceded by the hash sign and used to identify messages on a specific topic. So you'll see hashtags more so on Twitter and Instagram than you will on Facebook. And I think the only reason you'll see a hashtag on Facebook if it's connected to Instagram, more than likely.
Popular.
Yeah, so if you see, but you will see the hashtag used then. On Facebook, you will see a handle. So when you send something via Facebook, you would do at Bladder Cancer Advocacy Network, and it will connect over, your message will connect over to our page so we can see what you're doing, and it'll post on our timeline. I think I just said that correctly. So that's another reason why we use hashtags versus handles. And Beacon does have some hashtags and handles that we are using for the day for AMP Up. And these are the hashtags. These are the main hashtags. And we've registered these. So anytime you use these via Twitter, Instagram, and or Facebook, these will generate on our various timelines. And I'm going to have Alejandra talk about using hashtags.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So with Instagram especially, but also with Twitter, one of the most important things is the hashtag, because we want to make sure that the hashtag, whenever you use a hashtag, for example, hashtag AmpUpBeacon or hashtag Beacon, what's going to happen is it's going to direct whatever photo, video, or message you are using that hashtag for into kind of like an online room. So it's a platform. So that anything, any photo, any video, any message that you are using that hashtag with is going to pop up in that room. And so let's pretend that on one of the walks, everybody takes a lot of different pictures. Let's say you take a picture of you with your team or you walking, any sort of picture or video, then one of the things you can do is you go on your phone, because Instagram is only it's used as on the phone. So you have to download Instagram into your phone, a smartphone. So even if you have an iPhone or a Droid phone, whichever one is going to work with Instagram, you take a picture and you say, walking for bladder cancer, hashtag AmpUpBeacon, hashtag #bladdercancer, hashtag #WhyIAmpUp, hashtag Beacon. Those 4 hashtags will direct that photo to a specific area in the internet that will also have other photos that have those same hashtags put into them. So on that day, what you will see is a room on the internet, essentially in Instagram, that has a lot of different photos from the same day from people around the country. then the goal is to generate as much attention using these pictures. So on Twitter, on Instagram, these photos will essentially get more and more popular the more and more there are. That is why we want to use the hashtags.
Are there any questions so far?
Do we use all of these for every picture?
I would encourage that you do for Instagram. That's definitely, I would put as many times because they are going to, each hashtag has its own room, essentially, like its own lives in. So it will, like what if I go on Instagram and I click on hashtag AmpUpBeacon, all the pictures from that are connected to that hashtag are going to pop up in there. But if I don't tag hashtag and bladder cancer, then it's not going to show up in that hashtag internet room. So it's really important to make sure that you have the hashtags attached to that photo, because Instagram is like almost like a live feed into what's going on around the world. You can take pictures, you can take videos, and so it's a great platform for generating interest in our event.
And and in regards to Twitter, is it still housed in that same room?
No, so they are different because Instagram and Twitter are two separate things. But you can use the same hashtag. It's absolutely fine, because what will happen is on Twitter and Instagram are two separate entities, but they are still, if you go on Twitter and you search hashtag WhyIAmpUp, whatever is on Twitter that says hashtag WhyIAmpUp is going to pop up in that particular feed. So they are not the same thing, but we're using the same hashtag so that we keep it very consistent.
Okay. So if I put hashtag AmpUpBeacon or hashtag in bladder cancer, hashtag WhyIAmpUp, or in bladder cancer, I got it twice, on Twitter, yeah. I wanted to end. If I put it on my Twitter feed, will it show up on the Instagram?
No, you have to do it from Instagram as well.
So I would have to do it from both sites? From
both sites, yes. The one thing that I will say is if you are on Instagram, there is a way to connect to your Twitter feed so that if you put something on Instagram, you can link it to your Twitter and it will go to that as well automatically. Okay. So you can do it that way as well.
Okay.
And to Facebook, both.
Okay. Well, that's great. Do we have more questions? I know this is so fascinating. Jean, do you have any more questions?
Well, I guess I was wondering, just listening to that last section, that we should try and figure out a way to encourage everybody, every team, even just a participant, to be doing this for us.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then I'm wondering, leading up to the walk, how often should I post or tweet or whatever? Is there, too much there's never too much, or is there a limit, or do you have a recommendation for, maybe what we should be doing when?
I'm a firm believer in the more the merrier.
Yeah.
Okay. Especially when you're trying to, if you have a goal, let's say of $500 and you're close like at $450, the more you get that message out, the faster you'll get to your goal. So if and the more people you're able to reach, the faster you'll reach to that goal. So if you're a week out, or even if you're after the event, you can tweet, Facebook or Instagram pictures from the event after the event and send it out to your family and friends via social media, and they can help you still fundraise after the event. If you're still looking for more team members and you're a week out, I say use your social media platform. And even if they can't attend your event, your own personal event, having them go to the main website of ampupbeacon.org and just saying, I know you may not be able to attend the DC event, but since you live in New York, all my New York friends, click on the state of New York, and you have 3 options of different events in New York: Long Island, Brooklyn, and New York City. So you can encourage people who are within your social media network to attend, but not necessarily may not be in your neighborhood, but they can also attend around the country. So,
Okay.
so does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, I think that's good.
One thing I would encourage too, these are our hashtags. So these are Beacon, what we are essentially have registered for in Twitter, and what we're encouraging for Instagram. However, one thing I would very, very much recommend is don't limit yourself just to these. Do these, but on top of it, especially for Instagram, maybe in Twitter as well, I would say, everyone, what you want to do is broaden your audience. So while these tags are very important for the AMP Up event, one of the things I would encourage is that you also do hashtag bladder cancer, hashtag cancer, hashtag bladder, because what will happen is those pictures will also end up in those more broad audiences, and perhaps we'll get more awareness because of that. So even if it ends up being in the hashtag cancer or hashtag bladder or hashtag awareness, something to that extent, any word can become a hashtag, and you will see that if you type it into Instagram, that will show up for you. So you can type it up, see if there's some sort of following in that room, internet room, and hashtag bladder cancer. More than likely, there's going to be thousands of posts of pictures from people around the country or even around the world who have never heard of Beacon but have hashtag bladder cancer. And so it might generate some sort of attention towards our event, and that's really important.
And that's the whole reason why we do it. We do it because it's our premier fundraising and awareness event. And if we can just get the word out to 20 extra people who didn't know about what we were doing, about even what you're doing and why you're doing it, then we've done our job for the day.
Exactly.
So,
and I would encourage you to follow the Instagram account for Beacon right now, because you will start to see the trend of what hashtags we are putting ourselves. And I think that will give you an idea of what you should be promoting as well.
And if you haven't liked this on Facebook, please do so. And also on Twitter. If you're not following us, we hope you will follow us. And just so I can go back, we'll go back so you can see what those links are. So you can see the various links and how to use them. And if we don't have any more questions, I am going to conclude our and when you do Twitter and or Instagram, you want to make sure you tag us with these handles that you see right here. So that way it links to our feed also. So just another insight. But like I said, we are recording this, and we will also provide some other quick tips and notes. So we will send this back out to everyone, and so they can have kind of like a cheat sheet with the handles and the hashtags, and being able to use them before, during, and after AMP Up. So if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to conclude our session, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the World Wide Web or social media.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.